Good, sweet. Hello, coaches.
Hey, how's it going?
Game two at home with Spearfish. Not as good of a ending as we thought it would be. A little bit more productive today in terms of bats. We'll get more into the specifics later, but I don't know who wants to take this one. But how did you guys feel about today's game from y'all's perspective, from coach's perspective?
It was fun until about the seventh inning. Frustrating would probably describe that game a little bit. But you know what? We've got pitcher DH and we got a pitcher in the field. You know, we're doing what we can to scrape these last few games through, and we're having a good time. Just the outcome didn't turn out like we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like a little bit more productive today. It did seem like we had a little bit more of a pep in our step for a while, especially when we made that massive jump 3 runs in the, is that the fourth inning. So it seemed like we weren't really out of it until about the 8th inning. Then momentum, kind of like you've always talked about, Coach Jamie, just was from there on out just almost a mountain we couldn't climb.
Yeah, you know, it's tough when you're being judged on the field and by the higher ups. I say, you know, we tried momentum. We just got it crushed by things that we can't even control as a player, as a coach. There's other alternatives in this game that affected the game, and it really took away from our momentum probably 5 or 6 times tonight.
Sure. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more. I want to talk a little bit more specifically about the batting with you, Coach Jamie. What did you see, I guess, more on a positive note than we saw last night where we were only able to produce 1 run?
Yeah, I thought we hit the ball pretty well. You know what? We squared it up. We hit it at them. The ball was kind of flying tonight. So I think our guys in the first couple innings were trying to lift it into the wind to get it up. The Spearfish player did that early in the game, and I think our guys could try to jump on it and do that as well. Once we settled down and started base hitting, we had opportunities many innings. So we missed a couple timely hits. We had a couple crucial strikeouts. And that lefty that threw in the 8th and 9th was a solid pitcher too.
Yeah, he came in, different arm slot than what I've seen here at Hyde Stadium. I don't know if this is our first time seeing him, but he came in and really commanded his stuff really well.
Yeah, he threw well. It moved a lot, kept our guys off balance. And, you know, in 8th and 9th inning, we were down already. We were kind of defeated, but we were fighting. We tried to fight.
Sure. I want to throw it over to you, Coach May. We had 2 of our Lopez pitchers on the mound tonight. First with Bryce, who had a fairly good start his last time out. Almost a similar start where he gave up 2 runs in the first. You know, to a point, not really his fault. He gave up the 2 runs with some errors in the field, but he then settled in fairly well. What did you see from him tonight? And what did you talk to him after pulling him in the 4th?
I saw a pitcher that didn't have his best stuff, but mentally he was prepared. He was locked in from pitch 1, but I could clearly tell, we discussed it today, he just didn't have his best stuff. Came out, just a little arm injury a little bit, so he saw the trainer, and so that was one reason why we got him. He just said he didn't feel the best, and so kind of goes with that. But I was proud of his performance. He gave us a chance to win. Lopez, Adrian came in behind him, and I thought he probably threw the hardest he threw all year tonight. And he looked really good. So I will say that. There's another gem out there, Adrian Lopez, and so they both did very well.
Yeah, Adrian came in, I believe he had 7, 8, 9 strikeouts, came in and really did what we've seen Adrian do a lot at home, where he just has command over his fastball and then just has some nasty stuff on his breaking ball. Can you talk to me a little bit about maybe what he was talking to you about being in the relieving role and coming in and doing what he did tonight?
I mean, it started yesterday. He said, Coach, I'm good to go. Last night after the game, we looked at his pitch count. He was good. He came out today. Coach, I'm ready to throw. I think the season winding down, he's just locked in. He just wants to get as many innings as possible. But he's got a fire in his eyes he ain't really had all year. And it's nice to see that from him.
Yeah, it seemed like he, you know, you were talking about how the hardest he's thrown all year and him being ready for that maybe one. But it definitely seemed like he had a little bit of an extra incentive to throw some heat. Did he talk to you about his frustrations on the mound? Because it definitely, from someone who's normally very well composed, showed a little bit of emotion on the mound today.
He didn't necessarily talk as much to me about his frustration, but his last couple of outings, we can kind of see it visually. You see his frustration. And body language is something I've always talked to him about, but I know his last outing, he went back to the bullpen after the game. And so tonight, he was really making an emphasis on being the best that he could be.
Great. I did want to talk a little bit about the Reinhardt situation. Being up in the press box, didn't really have much clarification what was going on. It seemed like he got picked off or there was a close play at first. Can you break that down for me and maybe some of the events following so that we can get some clarification?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. First, pick-off play to first, bang, bang. Brock definitely thought it was safe. I thought it was safe. Umpire, they're having a conversation. Brock takes off, walks back to the dugout, and he does this gesture thinking like that gesture. And the umpire thought it was a different gesture, tossed him. And he was just trying to explain himself, and that's what I was trying to explain to him, was that he didn't do an obscene gesture towards him.
Right.
He was actually walking away from him. And so,
Right. Maybe something where he was thinking about how he could have been better on the base paths or something. Okay, understandable. Definitely could see the frustration from there. Other times in the game leading up to it, also very well frustrating. A couple times in the ninth inning as well. So definitely a tough outing for you guys against the umpires, but it happens in baseball. T-Cats, what do you got?
Andrew Kim seemed to struggle today at shortstop. Is it just because he's uncomfortable with the position?
I wouldn't say he's uncomfortable with the position, but I would say just game speed a little too fast at that time. He hasn't played shortstop in a little while. He's comfortable at second. Just got to get more reps at shortstop. He'll be all right.
Excuse me. When Brock got tossed, you put in Tyler Lubin at the second base position. Has he played the position before, and what made you go with him?
Kid's a competitor. Love the coaching, but he takes ground balls everywhere. Kid loves to do something on the field. He just loves to be a ball player. And I know this, if you put him in, he's going to give you everything he's got. I looked over, it's the first thing I saw. I said he's going to give me everything he's got, so I'll put him there. He's taking ground balls. He'll be all right.
Jared Shelton made his second start at the designated hitter, first since opening day, and seemed to struggle a bit more than he did during that Grand Slam game against Western Nebraska. Is it just for Shelton getting more live ABs against real pitchers to improve his batting? Because as we can see from batting practice, he can hit the ball.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he can square any ball up and take it out of the park at any time. And with our limited roster, it's we don't have a choice. Shelton's got to be the man. If he's on the mound, it's got to be another pitcher, and that's just the way we're going. We're having fun with it. It's nice to see these guys getting in there and getting some hacks. Jared, he had a good hit. I think he had a single RBI tonight, so we'll take that from him. Anything we can get from these guys right now is a bonus.
Spearfish's 9-hole batter seemed to bunt every time he came up. Was that something where you were shifting your strategy between innings to be prepared for his next plate appearance?
No, we're just going after the first guy. Next guy up, we're going after him. It doesn't matter. 1 through 9, we're going after him. That guy just happens to have an injury, and he's balling out too over there for them, so they're limited as well. And he's doing a good job with it, actually. He's laying down some pretty good bunts.
He got pinch hit for in the 7th inning on a play that just seemed to eat Adrian Lopez up at the pitcher's mound on what seemed to be a suicide squeeze. What, from your perspective, seemed to go wrong on that play that allowed everyone to be safe?
Well, it was a different pinch hitter that time, so we were kind of back after the guy came up and took a pretty big hack, so it scooted our infield back. There's 2 outs. We're not expecting a squeeze at that time, and he laid it down. Our fielders were out of position, and the pitcher's got to have that ball, but it's one of those bang bang. It's got to be known before, so it kind of caught us off guard, and then you see the circus that happened after it, but.
We talked a little bit about how we kind of are due for one against these guys. We've lost the last 2 at home. We played them 2 more times. What trick do we have up our sleeve to really kind of push us over getting that W against these guys?
We're out here to have fun. We got the will to win. We got these guys sticking around. They're going into their, 60-something games here, and they're ready to. They don't want to lose, so they're going to put on a show for the fans. Hopefully all the fans come out. We had a good showing tonight. Appreciate that. And we're just out here having fun, and these guys want to win just as bad as Coach and I do. So.
Awesome. Sweet. I have questions. Any final thoughts about tonight going into tomorrow?